Just pulled up at the car park from Malgowan Aboriginal area. Gonna have a walk out now to hopefully some Aboriginal art. Apparently it's pretty nice out there in a cave. There is a walk you can do to the top of the hill. We're not going to do that one, but we'll show you some Aboriginal art soon, hopefully. We're on the way out to Gundabooka, or on the way back from Gundabooka National Park, sorry. I've come across this little guy, shingleback, bobtail, whatever you want to call him. Just hanging out in the road, so I'm just gonna give him a little hurry up and move him off the road so he doesn't turn into a pancake shingleback. They're a great little animal. Watch when I put him down, he won't run away. He'll turn and defend himself and open that mouth. Right, yeah. Hey? Hello. They're a beautiful animal. These guys are one of my favourite lizards. And watch him he's just in defensive mode. They're not very quick, these guys. And that tail there, and there's the tongue, that tail is designed to look like their head so that it confuses predators. And rather than flee, they will always stand and defend their ground like this. Open their mouth and put on the big display of "I'm so scary, rah rah rah." Beautiful animals. Righto mate, stay off the road, eh? See you later. Here in Mutawinji National Park, right down the end of Old Coach Road. Come down here to watch a sunset. There's a lot of really nice high clouds. Hopefully we're going to have a good one. But to give you an indication of just how remote we are, this is the sign here. No walking tracks, no toilets, no signposts, no drinking water, just solitude and the environment. Proper wilderness. So we're going to go for a walk, try and find a mountain or a hill to climb and try and watch the sunset from up on top of one of the many rocky outcrops that poke out of the otherwise completely dead flat landscape out here. Hopefully we capture a nice sunset. So this is our target spot as we come through the trees here. This big rocky outcrop, and we're going to try and get up on top of it and have a view out that way to where the sun is setting. It's already a pretty spot. Keen. We made it to the top, and how's this for a view? I'm just going to show you, don't need my head in the way. How good. So the sun's going to set that way, the way I'm facing now, and there's some really nice mountain ranges over there that I'm going to try and turn into my subject, I guess. There is another mountain range way over there, but it's too far away. As soon as I put on the wide angle lens, it's going to look tiny. And these ones over here might even be nice, actually. The rock outcrops over that side. Just a beautiful spot. I say it all the time, but it's so worth just getting out and just doing it. Pack your gear, come for a walk. So good. It's a little bit breezy up here, so I hope there's no horrible wind noise in the video. But the sun's just started to disappear behind the clouds, so it should be setting pretty soon. But I've already grabbed a couple of portrait orientation images. I've got the, as you can see, got the tripod set up there of this rock with this little bush in it down there, leading off to that rocky range over there. I think it's a pretty nice composition. No super interesting light as yet, but we'll see what happens as that sun sets. Probably got 20 or so minutes before the sun sets, and I'm always an advocate for getting on location early, and as a result now I'm set up. I'll adjust my composition slightly, but I'm set up, and now just sitting here and watching this vast wilderness out in front of me. Just absolutely gorgeous, and nothing to be done except sit back and enjoy it. This whole national park used to be an ancient seabed, and all these rocky formations, including what I'm sitting on right now, are basically sandstone sediment from the bottom of that seabed. And they're a bright red colour, really pretty colour. But I don't know how long ago, thousands of years ago obviously. This was all a sea, which is hard to comprehend now given that it's such an arid environment. There are little creek beds all over the place, but every single one of them is bone dry, all sandy bottomed. Yeah, time changes everything, I guess. But there have been Aboriginal people living here for, I think they said 4,000 years, something like that. And there's also, I was a bit hopeful, but we haven't seen any yet, the yellow-footed rock wallaby, which is endangered and one of the rarest animals you'll see, or in this case not see. Yeah, yellow-footed rock wallaby. I thought it was extinct and rediscovered it, I think, in the early 70s. And this is one of the few habitats they have. I think one of the only places in New South Wales where those guys live. So I'd love to see one, but no luck so far. You never know, as dusk comes and they start to get a bit more active. The sun's just in amongst the clouds over there. So I've just grabbed a couple of images of the last bit of light hitting this rock formation leading out in front of me. There's the camera set up there. Hitting this rock formation leading out in front of me. It's probably hard to tell, there's a couple of really pretty little purple flowers down there. And I like the tree line along the edge of the rocks leading out to these mountains. And just the first little speck of colour in the sky from that sunset. So I've just whacked on the 4-stop soft edge graduated filter because the sky is going to be pretty bright once that sun gets down nice and low, and all of this foreground here is going to be in shadow. So I want to even out that light a little bit. So there's the filter on there. But yeah, still just waiting. I think I'm getting a little bit excited because I keep shooting even though the conditions are not what I'm here for yet. So just turned the camera off and I'm just going to sit and chill and watch it for the next 10 or so minutes drop, and then hopefully we will have a explosion of colour and a really pretty sunset. Sun's just starting to pass below the clouds now. There might be a little bit low on the horizon to light them all up, but I think we'll get some colour still. Maybe not the explosion we were hoping for, but I think we should get some. But I'll show you now. It's still looking like a pretty sunset. I've been focus stacking these images because I've got this rock in front of me. It's only 300mm off the front of the camera, so I've been focus stacking one on the rock, one on sort of the mid-ground out here, and then one on those far hills out there, to try and get it all sharp front to back. Wander back to the car now. We've got the camp oven going back with the boys back at camp, with a beef in the camp oven at the moment, so we're having roast beef for dinner, and that should be lovely. Got up early, still in the Murruwinja National Park. Got up early to come out for a sunrise. Climbed up on top of one of these big sandstone outcrops or monoliths. Anyway, so I've got a great view here across the valley, across to the next mountain range, and you can just see a little bit of pink appearing in the sky now. I've just set the camera up for a quick test exposure, shooting at 25 seconds because hopefully you can see it's still pretty dark. Hopefully we'll get a nice sunrise. After yesterday's sunset was just a smidge disappointing, so hopefully we'll get something a bit nicer this morning. As you can see, it's very, very windy. It's a bit cold setting up here, but the things we do for what we love, eh? As I said, I hope it's not too horrible with the wind noise, but you can just see nice bit of colour coming through on that horizon now. It's really good. I'm hoping that gets even better. We're still a solid half an hour before sunrise. So hoping that colour gets even better if it does. Got this nice, there's a whole bunch of little creeks coming off the mountain ranges here. So you get this nice sort of grid crisscross pattern. It's an uneven grid, but this sort of grid pattern with all these creeks running down the hill to the main creek which runs through the centre of the valley. There's trees obviously in the creek beds, so it makes sort of a pattern if you get up high enough. It's so windy. I think they're predicting 50k an hour winds today, and I think they're already here because it's so windy. This is the importance of having a good tripod. I did have a cheapie that I took with me down to Tasmania, and I used it one of the beaches down there. I really like this scene. We were getting a really nice sunset, had some nice rocks leading out, and but it was windy. It ended up that every shot I had from that day was ruined by wind shape. So I've got a better tripod with me here today, and I'm hopeful that it's good enough to hold the camera nice and steady, even though it's quite an absolute game. Just thrown on the 4-stop soft edge filter. The sky's quite a bit brighter than the foreground. So I'm just trying to even that line out. I've just noticed behind me there, the moon has just started turning sort of a bright orange colour. So I might even swing around and grab a couple of that, although that streak of light across the sky is hard to turn away from. The composition I've got here is basically the edge of this cliff that I'm standing on, leading out to that next monolith, or outcrop, or whatever you want to call it over there, and then following the mountain ranges around to the light. It's so windy. Yeah, I don't know how far I've walked from the car, maybe only probably half a k or so. But there's not another person to be seen. Probably 10 k's of me this morning. So it's, if you like your solitude, get into landscape photography because there's a lot of it. It's got the better of me, this moon. It's just disappeared behind the clouds. So I've just swung around quickly to try and grab one of the moon. Looks like a scene off Mars. There's just this rocky, nothing landscape with this moon hovering, this semi-cloud above it. Yeah, that moon's gone now. And unfortunately, that way has just changed colour. Getting a really nice, streaky light. So excuse me as I climb back down to my perch. Set this back up again. But yes, has some really nice light coming through there now. So, sorry about that, just had to climb back down. Really nice light coming through. Have a look at that. I'm still shooting around 5-second exposures. I got ISO 64, f11, and around 5 seconds. I'm still focus stacking because I have still got some rocks in the foreground here that are only a metre or so off the front of the lens. And I've got that range over there and the range off in the distance, so I'm focusing one on each of those three things. So just grab my final exposure in that stack. We're going to go do the Mutawinji Gorge walk today. There's a really pretty pool in amongst some tall red cliffs at the end. I think it'll be a very similar rock to what I'm standing on right now, which is that mix of sandstone and conglomerate. So yeah, that should be nice, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of footage of that as well. But I'm just going to wander back to the car, go back to camp, maybe have some brekkie, and then set off on that one.